think for today, today we're going to talk about, today we're going to talk about falling in love with the process and not the result. I think a lot of times we get caught up in what the end game is or the goal weight. And today I am preaching to myself today. This is a talk for me, the things that I struggle with. So this is not a at you, this is a me going to be sharing and being honest today with things that I struggle with. And even if I preach it all the time, doesn't mean it's always easy for me to just jump on board and be right with it. It's a very real deal for me, the process. So like I said, a lot of times we try to fall in love with the end result, the number on the scale, the body fat percentage, the number on the bar, how much our bench press or our squat or our snatch is, different things like money goals career-wise, certain things you want for your kids. We have these targets out there, and sometimes I think we spend too much time just focusing on whether or not we hit the target and lose sight of what it takes to get there, or the little bitty details or parts of the process to get there. And I would encourage you to start finding joy in the little parts of the process, the small goals, the daily grind, the little things that it takes to reach that goal. Because sometimes, like we've said before, the goal can end up being a moving target. Sometimes when you get to a goal, you're like, oh, well, that's cool, but I want to be here now. And you're never satisfied with the goal number. You should really work on getting satisfied with the process of getting to the goal number, falling in love with the little victories and little wins along the way that may get you to that number, or as that number moves, you can still find joy in your success and you don't feel like a failure because you didn't hit some magical number, but you found ways to improve your process and fell in love with the little steps along the way. I'm sure I've talked about before about how, like, with my kids now, one of the things I've noticed in the YouTube generation and the highlight generation, and this started when I was in college and coming out of college, about how ESPN and things like that became all about the highlights. And I think a lot of is lost when we just focus on the highlights. It happens on social media too. You see the perfect picture, but you don't know what it took to get to the perfect picture. And I think a lot of times, especially in sports, what I've noticed with a lot of my kids at times is they just like, Dad, check out this dunk, or Dad, check out this touchdown pass, or Dad, check out this. And it's all about the quick fix highlight and nothing having to do with the process it took to get there. And it's been neat being at home with my youngest right now, and he's learning how to play basketball, and how while he still enjoys showing me the highlights, now he's really dug into the process of being a better basketball player. And now he takes joy in learning how to dribble with one hand, or when he makes a layup, or when he makes like a step back jumper, or he does a crossover, and the little things of all the practice he had to do to get to those things, he's really started to enjoy the little itsy bitsy teeny small victories along the way. And yesterday, like steps in the process, yesterday he looked at me, we play one-on-one just about every day, and yesterday he looked at me and he said, Dad, you're playing like right here, I know what you're doing. He said, I want you to go up just a little bit more on your effort. So he wants to start to be pushed a little bit more further along in his process. And as we get better at things, we can push a little harder and press on ourselves and press on our character and press on what we're made up on the inside a little harder to reach our goals. So that's my message for today. I want you to fall in love with the process of attaining your goals and the steps of attaining your goals, and not so much about the goal. Yes, the goal is very important to you, and it's a very important internal thing, but if we don't fall in love with the steps to get there, it's a lot easier to get burned out and not hit the goal, because you'll get frustrated along the way, and you may lose the passion or the fire for the goal if you don't enjoy the process. And today I'm talking to myself, like the process for me right now, and some goals I have, the process is hard for me right now. And it's hard for me not to just get out of my own head and my own thoughts and really focus on the small little detailed things I need to do on a daily basis to get to the goal. Sometimes the goal for me right now is out there and I'm like, man, I just can't get there, and I'm fed up with this and that, and I've got to dig inside myself and fall back in love with the road to get there, and the simple steps to get there, and the walk or the run that day, or lifting the weight, or drinking enough water, and finding joy in the small things again to get to the end game goal. So today we're talking to everybody today, me, you, everybody today. Fall in love with the process, and then when the goal gets there, it's so much sweeter because you enjoyed all of it and just not the end target that may keep moving in the end. That's it for today, guys.